Education in India is at a pivotal crossroads, shaped by dynamic reforms, rising aspirations, and the ever growing debate between government and private schooling. For millions of parents across the country, the decision of where to send their child for formative years is not just about academics, it's a critical choice that impacts household finances, social mobility, and future opportunities. Recent developments, including the upcoming CBSE exam, reforms for 2026, and the relentless rise in private school costs, have only intensified this discussion. So, how do government and private schools stack up today in terms of fees, facilities, and curriculum? And what do these choices mean for Indian families in 2025? Let's begin with the numbers. Because the cost of education is often the first hurdle parents encounter. According to the latest National Sample Survey, the average annual expenditure per student in government schools is just Rs2. This figure makes government schooling one of the most affordable options, especially for low-income and rural families. But step into the world of private education and the gap becomes striking. The average annual fee in private schools is nearly Rs 25,000, almost 9 times higher than their government counterparts. Yet, these are just averages. In metro cities, the costs escalate dramatically. Mid-tier private schools in urban centers typically charge between Rs 1 lakh and Rs 1.5 lakh per year. Elite institutions, particularly those affiliated with international curricula like IB or Cambridge, often demand up to Rs 4 lakh annually, excluding additional costs like transportation, uniforms, and extracurricular activities. For families considering prestigious boarding schools such as the Doon school or Scindia school, the numbers soar even higher, with annual fees ranging from Rs 13 lakh to Rs 17 lakh. Why do families pay so much more for private education? The answer lies in the value proposition, facilities, infrastructure, and perceived advantages. Private schools in India are known for their modern classrooms equipped with smart boards, air conditioning, and advanced teaching aids. Students benefit from state-of-the-art computer and science labs, well-stocked libraries, and a broad spectrum of extracurricular activities from sports and music to robotics and drama. The infrastructure is often a key differentiator. Clean and maintained washrooms, reliable transport services, and campus safety protocols create an environment that's attractive to many parents. Moreover, private institutions have the autonomy to select curricula, offering choices like the International Baccalaureate or Cambridge International Examinations, which cater to families seeking a global standard of education and seamless overseas transitions. Government schools, meanwhile, operate on a very different model. Their primary strength is inclusivity. With minimal fees, free textbooks, and the provision of midday meals, government schools ensure that education is accessible to all regardless of economic background. The infrastructure, however, varies widely depending on the state and local administration. While some government schools have made significant strides, especially under targeted schemes like PM SHRI, many still struggle with limited resources, larger class sizes, and fewer extracurricular options. Despite these challenges, government schools remain the backbone of India's education system, serving millions of children from diverse backgrounds. The curriculum and teaching quality are equally significant in this comparison. Government schools predominantly follow the State Board or Central Board of Secondary Education (CBSE) curriculum. Teachers are generally well-qualified government employees, but the challenge lies in the high student-teacher ratios, which can limit personalized attention. English is often taught as a subject rather than the medium of instruction, a factor that influences many parents' choices, especially those aspiring for global opportunities for their children. Private schools, by contrast, can choose from multiple curricula including CBSE, ICSE, IB, and Cambridge. This flexibility enables them to tailor programs to student needs and aspirations. Smaller class sizes and a greater emphasis on English medium instruction are common, which many parents perceive as an advantage in a competitive, globalized world. However, it's important to note that teaching quality is not universally better in private schools. Many government schools produce top performers in national competitive exams like JEE, NEET, and UPSC, demonstrating that motivated students and competent teachers can thrive in any setting. Beyond tuition, the hidden costs of private education often catch parents off guard. The expenses don't end with school fees. Transportation, uniforms, books, often mandated from specific vendors, activity fees, and digital learning charges can push annual costs to Rs 2.5 lakh or Rs 3.5 lakh per child in metro areas. For middle class families, this can represent a staggering 20 to 30% of their annual income. The financial strain is real, and many parents find themselves making tough sacrifices to afford what they perceive as the best for their children. Government schools, in contrast, continue to offer free uniforms, scholarships, and midday meals, relieving families from much of this economic pressure. This growing disparity has had a marked impact on enrollment patterns. A recent government survey noted a 4.5% drop in government school enrollments for the 2024-25 academic year as more parents moved their children to private institutions. The trend is particularly pronounced in urban India, where aspirations are high and the perceived gap in quality is widest. Yet, this shift has also highlighted the financial vulnerability of middle-class families caught in the spiral of soaring private school costs. Recognizing these challenges, policymakers are working to bridge the gap. The National Education Policy (NEP 2020) is a landmark initiative aimed at holistic learning, critical thinking, and the integration of vocational education in government schools. Under schemes like PM SHRI, many government institutions are receiving upgrades to infrastructure, digital resources, and teacher training. The upcoming CBSE reforms for 2026, including open book testing, APAR-ID integration, and digital evaluation, promise to modernize assessment and accessibility across both government and private sectors. These changes could narrow the quality gap and make government schools a more attractive option for a wider range of families. So, where does the balance lie? Government schools remain unmatched in affordability and inclusivity. They are evolving, with quality improvements driven by national reforms and targeted investment. Private schools, on the other hand, offer superior infrastructure, more curriculum options, and a modern learning environment, but at a price that can be prohibitive for many. Ultimately, the choice between government and private schooling depends on a family's budget, priorities, and location. For those seeking cost-effective education and social inclusivity, government schools are steadily improving and remain a solid choice. For parents who value exposure to international curricula, English medium instruction, and enhanced facilities, private schools may justify the expense if finances permit. But regardless of the path chosen, the focus should remain on quality education, personal development, and lifelong learning. The brand of the school matters less than the commitment to nurturing young minds and preparing them for the future. In India's rapidly changing education landscape, informed choices and ongoing reforms promise a brighter, more equitable tomorrow for every child.